think you have to have a position on vaccines, for whatever it's worth. I'm for them. To think that it's very troubling news organizations or the government or billionaires or anybody would try and censor open conversation about their effects.
Well, we've obviously talked a lot, Tucker, about the practice of censoring for political opinion, declaring things hate speech or offensive, and the dangers of censoring for that. I actually think this pretense that they're able, this conceit that they're able to decree right and wrong, truth and falsity, to the point where they can ban things that they declare to be false, is even more pernicious than opinion-based censorship. The irony, think about this, if this Facebook policy had existed back in March, less than a year ago, that says that if you dissent from the consensus of the World Health Organization and scientific experts, you will be banned from their platform. That would have meant that if you were somebody who in March went onto Facebook and said, I believe that you should wear masks. I believe that masks are effective against respiratory diseases of the kind that SARS and COVID-19 represent. You would have been banned because the science back then said that you shouldn't wear masks. Dr. Fauci was saying don't wear masks. They were saying not only are masks unnecessary, they could actually be dangerous. That's the whole point of science. Everything they do, these liberal guardians of orthodoxy and piety, is about trying to make you think that they have a monopoly on objective truth by calling it science. Science is a human study, which means it's fallible. And exactly as you said, it is extremely dangerous to say that any kind of human knowledge is so unchallengeable to being discussed that it's off limits from even being questioned.
I'm worried that maybe paradoxically, their demand that you believe what they say will result in millions of Americans not believing what anybody says. This will have an effect on people's faith in knowable truth. It'll have an effect on their mental health. It will make people crazy. That's my concern.
Well, no, and I think that's valid. You know, I agree. I have the same view as you do, which is when the vaccine is available where I live, I'm going to get it. My family's going to take it as well, because the reason I'm convinced, not that it's clearly true, but probably the best course for me and my family, is because I informed myself. I used the free and open internet to look at what experts were saying. I sought out dissenting opinion, and I was convinced that the consensus was probably right, that taking the vaccine was the best thing to do. But if the internet were a place where no dissent were allowed, I would have way less confidence in that ability, because that would mean this is a profession that isn't confident enough to allow dissent. And if they're not confident enough to allow dissent, I think that they earn much less trust and faith in their pronouncements.
Yes, I think it's a really wise observation. So I have to ask you, and I'm not sure the answer myself, why are they doing it? If it has the opposite of the intended effect, and that seems like it makes sense that it would, why are they continuing to do this, do you think?
I think it's so important to recognize that Silicon Valley companies are not the ones who want to do this. They would rather stay as far away from censoring and arbitrating and intervening and kicking people off their platforms, not because they're noble and nice, but because it's in their business self-interest not to do it. They're being pressured to do it, Tucker. This is what's so amazing, by CNN and NBC and New York Times, who are saying every time you allow information over your platform that we think is wrong, we're going to shame you, we're going to disgrace you. And they have their partners who are the Democratic Party, who control the entire government now, who are right along with them saying, we demand that you censor more. They're being pressured, led by journalists who are now the leading activists to destroy free discourse and free thought in the United States. That's the dynamic that we have to understand.
I think you're exactly right. I don't think we can say that enough. Glenn Greenwald, thank you for that wise assessment. I appreciate it.
Thanks, Tucker.